Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the incredible world we call home. We walk on its surface every single day, but how much do we really know about our planet Earth? Get ready to have your mind blown, because we're counting down 10 amazing facts about our home planet that you probably didn't learn in school. Let's start with something that affects us every single day: time. Did you know a day isn't exactly 24 hours long? It's actually 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. This is called a sidereal day, which is the time it takes for Earth to rotate once relative to the stars. The 24-hour day we use, called a solar day, is the time it takes for the sun to return to the same position in the sky. So why the difference? It's because as Earth is spinning, it's also orbiting the sun. It has to rotate a little bit extra each day to catch up to the sun's position. That tiny difference adds up, which is why we have leap years to keep our calendars in sync with the planet's orbit. Speaking of our orbit, let's talk about our cosmic neighborhood. You probably learned that Earth is the third planet from the sun, but here's a fun twist. On average, Earth's closest neighbor isn't Venus or Mars, it's actually Mercury. I know, it sounds crazy, right? While Venus and Mars have orbits that bring them very close to us at certain times, their orbits are much larger. Mercury, on the other hand, has a much smaller, faster orbit. It never strays too far from the sun, which means it also never strays too far from us. So, if you were to average out the distance to every other planet over a long period, tiny Mercury is the one that spends the most time being our closest pal. Now let's look beneath our feet. The ground we stand on feels pretty solid, but our planet is incredibly active. Earth has a powerful magnetic field, which is super important. It acts like a giant, invisible shield, protecting us from harmful solar winds and cosmic radiation. Without it, the sun's particles would strip away our atmosphere, making life impossible. But what creates this field? It's generated by the movement of molten iron and nickel in Earth's outer core, thousands of kilometers below the surface. This creates a giant dynamo effect, and get this, the magnetic poles aren't stationary. They wander around and have even flipped completely multiple times in Earth's history. Scientists are still trying to understand exactly why, but it's a reminder of the dynamic forces at work deep inside our planet. Let's move from the core to the surface. Earth is not a perfect sphere. Because it's spinning, it bulges slightly at the equator and is flattened at the poles. This shape is called an oblate spheroid. This means if you were to measure the diameter from the North Pole to the South Pole, it's about 43 kilometers shorter than the diameter measured across the equator. So, if you want to be technically further from the center of the Earth, you should go to the equator. This equatorial bulge also means that the point on Earth's surface farthest from its center isn't the peak of Mount Everest. It's actually the peak of Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador because it sits right on that bulge. Okay, fact number 5 is a wet one. We call our planet Earth, but maybe we should have called it ocean. Water covers about 71% of the Earth's surface. But what's truly mind-boggling is just how much water that is. We're talking about 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. And here's the kicker. We've explored less than 5% of our own oceans. That's right. We literally know more about the surface of Mars and the Moon than we do about the deepest parts of our planet's oceans. The deep sea is a world of crushing pressure, complete darkness, and extreme temperatures. Yet life still finds a way to thrive there. It's a vast, mysterious frontier right here on our own planet, full of undiscovered species and geological wonders. Let's talk about something we can see every night: the moon. We often think of the moon as being in a stable, unchanging orbit. But in reality, it's slowly drifting away from us. Every year, the moon moves about 3.8 centimeters, or an inch and a half further from Earth. This is due to the tidal interactions between the Earth and the moon. The moon's gravity pulls on our oceans, creating tides. This tidal bulge, in turn, pulls the moon forward in its orbit, giving it a little energy boost and causing it to spiral outwards. Don't worry though, it's not going to abandon us anytime soon. The process is incredibly slow. Now, for a fact that will make you feel like you're in a sci-fi movie. Earth is literally glowing. This phenomenon is called airglow, and it's a faint emission of light by a planetary atmosphere. During the day, sunlight energizes atoms and molecules like oxygen and nitrogen in our upper atmosphere. At night, these particles release that stored energy in the form of photons, creating a very subtle, colorful glow. But astronauts aboard the International Space Station can see it clearly, a beautiful, thin, colorful layer wrapping around our planet. It's like our planet has its own natural, permanent aurora. Let's head to the extremes. We often think of deserts as being scorching hot, right? But the largest desert on Earth is actually a polar one. It's Antarctica. A desert is defined by its low amount of precipitation, and the vast interior of Antarctica gets less than 200 millimeters of precipitation per year, mostly as snow. It's the coldest, driest, and highest continent on average. The sheer scale of the ice there is hard to comprehend. The Antarctic ice sheet contains about 90% of the ice and about 70% of its fresh water. If all that ice were to melt, global sea levels would rise by a catastrophic 60 meters, or nearly 200 feet. Fact number 9 is all about the ground shaking beneath us. We hear about earthquakes happening all the time, but the sheer frequency is staggering. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that several million earthquakes occur worldwide each year. Now, most of these are far too small for us to feel. We only really notice the ones that are strong enough to cause shaking or damage. But our planet is constantly creaking, groaning, and adjusting itself. These quakes are a result of the movement of tectonic plates, the massive slabs of rock that make up Earth's crust. They're constantly grinding against each other, building up stress that is eventually released as an earthquake. For a long time, we thought Earth was the center of everything. But we now know it's just one of billions of planets in our galaxy alone. But here's what makes it truly special. As of today, Earth is the only place in the entire universe where we know for certain that life exists. From the tiniest microbe to the largest blue whale, our planet is teeming with an incredible diversity of life. All the conditions are just right the distance from our star: the presence of liquid water, the protective atmosphere, the magnetic field. This perfect combination has allowed life to emerge, survive, and evolve over billions of years into the complex web we see today. We are living on a precious, unique oasis in the vastness of space. So there you have it, 10 amazing facts that show just how incredible our planet really is. It makes you realize how much there is still to discover and how important it is to protect this amazing home of ours. What fact surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey across our planet, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.